Okay, good morning, everybody. Happy Monday. Today I'm going to go over the experiment vocabulary that we talked about in class. So let me share the screen. So a little bit of a review. The first question here is talking about an article in a women's magazine said that women who chose to nurse their babies feel warmer and more receptive toward infants and mothers to bottle feed. The author concludes that nursing has a desirable effect on mothers' attitudes towards the child. Explain why asserting a cause and effect relationship based on this information is suspect, and give another plausible explanation for the association between the decision to bottle feed or nurse and mothers' attitudes toward their children. So here's the big thing. It's really hard to separate. It's hard to separate. It's in this case, it's hard to separate, spell separate wrong, separate the impact of how to feed from maternal feelings. I mean, if you really think about it, is it the fact that they're feeding them? Or is it the fact that they're the mother? I mean, there are so many other components to that. It's really, really, really hard to. For example, someone who bottle feeds their baby may have to bottle feed their baby because they work outside the home, or in terms of if they work outside the home, they need to get their sleep. So it's hard to do the nursing of the baby when you have to keep a certain hours at work. So in this case, there's a confounding variable there. And the idea of them being tired or them working outside the home could be a confounding variable. So in this case, the reason you really can't determine that is because of the confounding there. There's a confounding variable. In this case, you could say that it's working outside the home, or in this case, like a level of sleep level, for example, could be a confounding variable, because we really can't take that out of the equation. It's one of those things where it's hard to make that determination on something like that. Okay, so next one, Mr. Divizia is trying to determine how long a package of cookies stays fresh on store shelves and the extent to which the type of packaging and the store's temperature influence how long the packages of cookies stay fresh. He designs a completely randomized experiment involving low 64-degree Fahrenheit and high 75-degree Fahrenheit temperatures and two types of packaging, plastic and wax cardboard. Lists the experimental units, the factors, and the treatments. So the experimental units are, what are we experimenting on? What are we conducting this study, this experiment on? And in this case, what we're going to say is the experimental units are the packages of cookies, Okay. The next thing it asks about the factors. The factors are the treatments that we're in this, or let me put it a better way. The factors are, what are the things we are doing to the experimental units? And in this case, the factors are going to be the temperature and the packaging. Now, be careful, because now we're going to get to what the treatments are. And the treatments are the specific types of factors that we're doing. So in this case, we're going to have several different treatments. We are going to have low temp and plastic. We're going to have high temp and plastic. We're going to have low temp and the wax cardboard. And we're going to have high temp and cardboard. So the way to think about it is, the factors are the overarching idea of what we're doing. So in this case, the temperature of the room and the type of packaging we're going to use are factors. Then the treatments are the specific things we actually do. In this case, it is a little bit of a fine line, but just make sure you understand the difference between those. But so those are some of the definitions we dealt with: experimental units, factors, and treatments. Number 3, an experiment to investigate the effectiveness of white willow bark capsules as a remedy for back pain. Plans to compare the reduction in pain for people using this herbal remedy to a control group. Is it possible to conduct this experiment in a double blind? Okay, so here's the deal. Single blind is where the people who are involved, like, are actually receiving the treatments, don't know. So single blind would be, you're just given a little paper cup, and in that paper cup is a pill. You don't know whether that pill is actually the herbal remedy or the placebo. So remember, placebo again is the like no treatment, sugar pill, inert treatment kind of thing. So if you're the person in the experiment and you just take a pill and pop it in your mouth, you don't know whether it's the actual herbal treatment or whether it is the placebo. So that's a single blind. Double blind is what I just described, where you as the experimental unit don't know what you're receiving, but double blind also implies that I, as the person observing you, don't know. And the reason that I would do something like that is I would want to make sure that I don't influence the results. If I know that person A is taking the herbal supplement and person B is taking the placebo, I might focus more on person A. Just unintentionally, subconsciously, I know they're getting the treatment. I'm worried about this treatment. That's where I'm going to focus. But in a double blind world, I don't know who has what, so I treat everybody equally. So I'm going to do another one that'll kind of go through it. I just want to make sure these videos aren't too long. So what we'll do is we'll stop on this one.